Hello, welcome to Let's Talk with me, your host, Irene Solo. Today is a beautiful day, and I have with me my sisters. Truthfully, these are my sisters, and we're going to be talking about fasting. I hope you remember that we started this discussion of fasting, and some of you actually asked me to continue with the discussion, that it was quite heartwarming, encouraging, and mind blowing. Somebody actually told me that. So we're here today to start talking about fasting again and how we understand fasting and the benefits of it and why we fast. Because, first of all, we need to know why we fast. Many people don't even understand why they should fast. They actually think it's a punishment, and I don't think it is a punishment. So it is for us to know, why do we fast? Why should we fast? Why is it necessary to fast? So we are here as ladies, sisters in the Lord, here ready to literally tell you more about this fasting. This fasting has helped us not only in our Christian walk, in our families, and as entrepreneurs. It has also helped us in our workplaces. It has also helped us in our society, in our communities. It is helping us. So we're here to share with you. So it's our day-to-day lives, what we do daily, and we are here to share it with you so that it can be something of significance and that can bring change into your life and into your family. Without wasting much time, let me welcome my beloved sisters to the stage, Lisa Rose and Lillia Sanders. They are not visitors anymore. You know them. So there's Lisa. She's out already. We are just waiting for Lillia. There she is. You know them. These are my sisters, and I'm so proud of them. So we are here today. We are not here to ask anybody questions, but we are here to talk about fasting. We want you to understand the benefits of fasting, the advantages of it. So today we're starting from the beginning. Why do we fast? You know, that's something that many people have not, it's a question that many people are asking, and yet they've never gotten the answers. At the same time, some people have never asked that question. It's very interesting. So the question is, why do we fast? Because before I allow them to even talk, there's a lady who once said to me, I don't understand this fasting thing. This is just starving. Why should I just abstain from the food that I like? Allow me to eat. I'm coming to this. I came to this world. It's for a short while. Allow me to just eat and enjoy myself. When I die, I die. So I was like, interesting though, but why do we fast? So today, let us talk about it. Why do we fast? And before we even talk about why do we fast, what is fasting? We need to understand what is fasting. So ladies, I'm giving it to you. So Lisa, please introduce yourself and just greet us before I talk too much. I know I like to talk.
We all do. That's why we're sisters in Christ and on this show together. So I'm Lisa Rohrs. I am CEO of the Sunshine Cafe, which is a podcast giving Christian encouragement for people on their walk. And I'm also CEO of Fast, Pray, Heal, which is all about fasting. And it's just a huge passion of mine because it is such a ancient and amazing modality for healing, for breaking strongholds, for developing willpower and discipline. It's an awesome tool. And so that's one answer, Irene, to your friend's question about why we should do this at all. But I love your question about, let's start with what is fasting, and we'll get to that as soon as we introduce our other sister friend here.
Yes. Lillia, it's your turn. Please tell us who you are. And we know you, but please just refresh our memories.
Hi, my name is Lillia Sanders, and I do accounting, and I'm a CFO, but I also was able to overcome infertility with fasting, shrink fibroids, heal things, purify my body. And my story and what fasting can do is what allowed me to go from infertility to having 3 beautiful girls. And so, yes.
Man, the girls are beautiful. The girls are beautiful. One of them was just celebrating her birthday a few days ago.
Right.
Yes. Okay. So now, without wasting much time, I'm going to throw this question to you ladies. And right now, you have to know that we are talking, we are interacting. So anybody who has a question can throw it to the team for us to just talk. So, but the first question I want to ask so that everybody can understand. What is fasting and why do we fast?
All right, I'll jump in if you're okay with that.
Okay.
There are 5. Everybody hold up their hand. You got 5 fingers. There are 5 types of fasts, my friends. There's an absolute fast, which means you eat absolutely, drink absolutely nothing. Absolute fast. Second one is a normal or a water fast,
Mm-hmm.
where all you drink, all you eat is water.
Mm-hmm.
Third is an intermittent fast. Lots of topics, lots of conversations around intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is not about what you eat. It's about when you eat. So it's just shrinking that eating window. So you're only eating during a few hours during the day to extend. Every one of us fasts. We fast overnight. That's why we call it breakfast. Break the fast. So intermittent fasting is the when you eat. There's juice fasting, where all you drink or all you eat is juice. And the final one is a partial fast. And a partial fast is where you choose one thing to abstain from. You hear a lot about this one during Lent, when people are trying to choose one thing to kind of stay away from. So I would like to argue, Irene, that every single one of your listeners, no matter who they are, where they're from, can do a fast. It's just a matter of what type of fast they do. It has nothing to do with food. I don't care how fat or thin you are, you can do a fast.
Okay. What do you have to say, Lillia?
No, I love the way that Lisa broke it down. And I feel like, to add to that, she gave 5 great examples, and it is a test of willpower. And I truly believe it's like, well, I'll try taking one thing away. If you just start with baby steps, and then maybe the next thing is, shortening the window with intermittent fasting, or cutting out sugar, just one thing at a time. And I feel like the woman who asked you why, if anything, it creates a level of discipline and confidence that something doesn't control you, you control it, by creating another level of discipline to grow as a human and to stretch your discipline levels. So, and obviously you'll get a lot of health benefits from it. But
ladies, there's something I like about you guys. When you speak with so much authenticity. And you speak with so much audacity. It's like, man, guys, I understand these things. So it's not about me trying to think about it. I know what I'm talking about. So I really pray that everybody's listening to you. So I was actually reading through, and then there's something I read. So I just said, let me actually bring it out, because there are some people, as you said, Lillia, that sometimes maybe we should just start with the baby steps. So I actually decided, okay, let me read. What is fasting? I found out, okay, fasting is something that you do voluntarily. You decide to maybe abstain from something, or a type of food, or a type of drink. I grew up as a Catholic, and then there's a time that you abstain from meat. You understand? Yep. You can eat every other thing, but you abstain from meat. Then over the years, I actually realized that I can actually abstain from the television. Then I realized I can actually abstain from phones. Then I came to realize I can abstain from some friends. Not because I hate them, but because I know that their influence in my life at that particular time will not be positive. So I decide to stay away from them so that I can build myself. So I come up with the whole idea of fasting is you yourself knowing that this thing you're doing it voluntarily. It's nobody's forcing you. It's a choice.
It's a choice.
And when you make a choice, then it is more easier to for it to be done than when it feels like you are being pushed. Yes. So then I come back to I want to, before I go back to this, the points that Lisa gave earlier. Tell me something. What's the difference between fasting and starving?
Well, fasting can actually be starving. They could be the same thing, because fasting is not always voluntarily done. There are prisoners who are fasting, not by choice, but they're not given any food. So they are definitely fasting. So it's not always something that's done voluntarily. There is both voluntary and involuntary versions of fasting. If there's a famine, our bodies are fasting. There's no food. So if there's a drought and there's no water, we're fasting. So it's good to understand that. But the fasting that you're talking about, Irene, is a choice. Like, I am choosing to abstain from one thing in order to lean into something else. So that's the difference. It's like, when you're just starving because you're hungry and you're malnourished, that's not a good place to be. You might be fasting, but it might not be voluntarily, and it might be not healthy. So choosing to abstain from one thing in order to break through on something else, that's the kind of fast we're talking about.
Okay. Do you have something to add, Lillia? I like
think
the voluntary and non-voluntary.
Yeah.
It's good for us to know that, because most of the
Mhm.
time, okay, let me leave it at that.
I would add to that starving, sometimes you don't know when you're going to eat again. And when it comes to fasting, like I said, it's a discipline. Like you said, Irene, it's a choice. And usually there's an end date, whether it's the 40 days or 21 days or 7 days. There's usually some kind of parameter in order, like Lisa said, for a breakthrough, for an end result, just for, like you said, for a season to separate from certain people because that they don't fit the way that they used to. So I feel like the discipline behind fasting will have a discipline behind it, and usually a time frame. And it's choice, like Lisa said, it's either a choice or you don't have a choice because you can't eat because you don't have food. Versus I have the option, but I'm choosing to abstain from my free will and bringing it into discipline and submission to desired outcome. So more structure, I would say.
Okay, I have a question, ladies. Please, I know I like to ask questions, but please just be prepared for me. Okay, tell me, what's the benefits of having a voluntary fast and a non-voluntary fast? Because I know, if, let's say, I say to myself, I want to fast for 40 days, I have a goal, because maybe this is why I want to fast, and I will be targeting that. And I will be focused on that. Whatever, everything I'll be doing towards that. But then, what if I find myself in a place where I have to fast and I don't want to fast, but the situation forces me to fast?
Those are great questions, Irene. First and foremost, I would say, depending on the kind of fast you're doing, you don't want to set your number of days goal. Don't set that number of days goal. Unless it's a partial fast where you're going to go without soda, or you're going to go without watching the news for 40 days. Those are things that you can definitely set a date and say, I'm going to do this for X number of days. But if you're doing anything related to food, if you're doing any kind of fasting related to health, you really want to listen to your body. Maybe set a limit, like a short-term goal, like I'm going to go at least 3 days. And then after that, I'm going to listen to my body every day and see how much further I can go, because it's really important to kind of get in tune to our bodies. But to your point about why we do this, everything we do on this beautiful earth God created is learned. How often do we develop the discipline, the self-discipline of going without? We don't. We don't do that very often. How often do we not give ourselves what we want? Everything in America is all about achieving the goals that we want to achieve. How often do we say, no, I'm not going to do that thing? So fasting is an opportunity to teach ourselves that we can choose not to do something that we love for a time in order to build the resilience and to lean into something else.
Okay. I have a question on that, but let me allow Lillia to say something. Yes.
No, I was just going to say, you had asked also about if you don't have a choice, right? Isn't that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And so I feel like, I mean, we know as Christians, when I was in college, sometimes I was on a forced fast. I did not have the money. I did not have the food, but I had God. And so I just remember it seemed like so long ago. There were days where I was like, I don't have money for food, so I'm just going to fast and focus on other things until the provision comes. And so I feel like if you're fasting without a choice, choose God, choose to focus on the one that calls us to fast. And because this in some situations isn't what we want, but what the situation that we're in, focus on God, the provider, in order to make it through until, you're able to eat again or get whatever you're abstaining from or you can't eat from again. That would be my number one recommendation.
Great advice.
From
Great
experience.
advice, Lillia.
Thank you.
Okay, you said something, Lisa, about maybe not putting a time frame. Okay, I agree with you partly and not partly.
Okay.
So I'm 50-50. So we are here to discuss, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I've been in the ministry for a while. So I've been a pastor. I'm sure I've been a pastor for a while. And there's something I learned over the years. When some people come in and then you start teaching them about fasting, it's hard. So normally I tell people you can even do from 6 to 12. Somebody will look at it, it's easy. I remember I did that with my kids, start from 6 to 12. Then I'll be like, okay, you can maybe start from 6 to 3. In between, you can take fruits if you want to. Then I remember I told them, okay, try maybe going for 6 to 6. So I started slowly by training them, like, guys, it's not a must. You should not strain yourself too much. If you feel it's too much for you, you can take a fruit and then continue like that, to an extent that now my kids, they understand fasting, that each and every person have their own day that they fast from 6 to 6. So when it comes to like, I'll give an example. Maybe many churches or organizations, people have a tendency, they'll tell you that they're fasting maybe for 40 days or something like that. I think in that case, they've gotten used to the system of fasting, that they can be able to set days and say to themselves, okay, we will fast for 40 days. Because I remember it was early this year, there's a ministry I know that fasted for 100 days.
Yeah, it all depends, Irene. Yeah. Truly, it depends on what kind of fast you're doing. Yes. You're talking just now about intermittent fasting, and people can intermittent fast for the rest of their life. Because you are nourishing your body appropriately. But if you're choosing to do a water fast and you're going to say, I'm going to do 3 months of water fasting, if you're not wise about, right. Yeah. So exactly. Yeah. Yes. I mean, only Moses was sustained for an absolute fast. So nobody out there should be trying to do that for very long.
So you especially with the world we're living in today, you can really be drained. Much drained. So it's good to listen to your body. There was a time, I'll give you an example of myself. There was a time I decided that I was going to go on a dry fast. I did not give myself the days. And the situations around me was just too much. Then in the process, I said, okay, maybe let me give it 3 days. So I started 3 days. I was just going on dry. I did not take anything. But I was just focusing on prayer. When I got to the 4th day, I still continued. That's the most interesting part. But when I got to the 5th day, I was feeling so thirsty. So what I did, I started drinking water. Because remember, I'm fasting and I'm up and down. So I started drinking water. Can you believe that I did a water fast for 21 days, yet I only wanted a few days? Because my body could take it. When I got to the 21st day, I was like, okay. But when I tried passing to get to the 22nd day, even me, I could feel that my body is not allowing me.
Yeah.
So you are very right when you say that we need to teach ourselves to listen to our bodies, because sometimes, being that I've been in the ministry, I've seen that sometimes we do things for the sake of people, for people to say that so and so has done this. So I don't think we should fast to be able to please anybody. It should not be a religious thing. I always tell people, let fasting not be religious. Right. Let fasting be a lifestyle, and let fasting be something that you enjoy. Actually, you value it. You feel like this thing is beneficial to me. So if you are trying to compete with people and making it religious, it becomes very hard. That's my opinion.
Agreed. So, a very personal thing. And I do just want to say a couple things. Anyone out there listening, don't try to do a fast without talking to your healthcare practitioner, and don't try to do a fast if you're on medications. Don't try to do what Irene did, to just jump in and do a 40-day dry fast or water fast. You really have to be a good steward of this amazing body that God gave us, and choose the right fast for you. And that's why it's a personal decision. Like, and Irene said, this is not a competition. This is something that you can use to build your health, to make breakthroughs, to draw in to the Lord and really grow in your faith. But it really has to be a personal decision with all the pieces that make up your healthcare picture.
Yeah. It has to be a personal decision. And this idea of fasting should never be a competition. Otherwise, it can be as good as it is. It can also be destructive. Because I've come to realize no matter how good something is, if it's misused, it can also be destructive. So I agree with you. So I just wanted to bring in my own experience so that, people sometimes when you talk about fasting, they think you have not tried it. You may have tried it. I remember the first time I fasted for 3 days. Actually, people were fasting. Me, I could not. And I remember I told, there's somebody I told, it was a brother, I'm like, me, I can't go for 3 days. That's too much for me, But I had to start maybe the first day like that continuously until I got used to it. My body could be able to handle it.
Right.
Hence, if you're taking medication, it's good to literally confirm from your health practitioner so that they can tell if this is okay or if this is not. I've had so many people saying my pastor said or who said that I should drop everything and start fasting, and that is wrong. I think it's very good for us to be wise. In fact, God himself encourages each and every one of us to be wise. I think it's very important because God is a God of wisdom. So if you're serving God, we should be people of wisdom, not just throwing things everywhere. And hence, I'm the kind of person who believes in let us look at this thing very well. Let us constructively check what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there are some people who really are not supposed to come out of their medication. So check with your doctor.
Yes. But to your point, I love that you said that, Irene. I think all three of us have done fasts, multiple fasts. I know Lillia was talking about the amazing health benefits she received from fasting. I did too. I cured an autoimmune disease by fasting and did multiple juice fasts that were 60-day plus. So I've done a total of 180 days of juice fasting. Really, really healthy. But so we all speak from a lot of experience that this really can work if you listen to your body, but you do have to start small, start with a couple of days and work yourself up to it. And eventually your body does adjust.
I do want to share my personal experience. I remember nursing my girls and, I'm going to fast. And I kid you not, and this is where, like you said, wisdom, but I was like, okay, I just, I was going through a lot at the time and coming out of a really bad situation. And I just almost religiously was like, I need God to come through and I'm going to fast and I need breakthrough. I just need something. But I was trying to do a water fast and it was not wise. My body needed the nutrients in order to feed my children.
Yes.
And I probably tried it several times and I was so frustrated with myself, but I don't think I had my heart was right as far as breakthrough, but I still had to, like Lisa said, listen to my body and know that even intermittent fasting isn't realistic with a newborn because they're always eating. So it would have to be something like a Daniel fast.
A partial fast.
A partial fast. So that so I just wanted to say I wasn't on medication, but I was still in a situation, in a state where my body needed food constantly, constantly, so that it could nourish my babies. And I sure enough tried it. And me.
You were feeding you and your baby.
I don't even know why I tried it. I was so frustrated, but I mean, I couldn't. It was like, like you said, Irene, it was like I kept trying and I couldn't. And so it really depends on a lot of factors on how you decide to fast and when.
I wanted Lisa to say something, but because of what you said, I just wanted to say something. I mentioned earlier that I've been in the ministry for a while, and I was bringing that up because let me tell you something. If you are there's this level of competition where everybody you keep looking at people and they're like, this person fasted for 40 days. This person fasted for this long. So when you cannot fast the way they are fasting, you tend to feel like you're not good enough. And when you cannot fast the way they are fasting, you tend to think, okay, am I not spiritual enough? Coming back to what Lillia was saying, that now you feel, okay, I need a breakthrough. God, I need to call on you. I need to fast, things like that. And until I came to the realization that, man, God looks at my heart. I can stand up and run around and fast for 100 days, and yet my heart is in completely wrong place.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Everybody go take your Bibles out and read Isaiah 58.
Isaiah 58. So I've come to realize, so that's why I brought that up, because many of us, we've become so religious when it comes to fasting that we do not realize the benefits of it. I got to a point in my life where I said, you know what, I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat. Let me eat.
Let
then somebody was like, why? I said, no, come on, guys, allow me to eat. Because it was like, I'm punishing myself every day. I just needed to know that I am fasting because I love my relationship with God. I'm fasting because I know it is beneficial for me too. I'm not doing it because a group of people, they're doing it and now I'm trying to be like them. Hence, I brought that up. And that's why I love you ladies, because everybody brings their perspective differently. So we are not doing it in a religious form because we're like, no, fasting can help you. Fasting people can get healed. But you can do it yourself. You don't have to go to anybody turning you around, shifting you and screaming on your head. So sincerely, when you said that, Lillia, I just realized, man, I was fasting every day, struggling every day. Sometimes I'm hungry, but I could even see that I'm starving myself. I'm not fasting here because I could not pray. Just because I want to follow the trend. So yes, I'm back to I'm back to you, Lisa. Don't mind me.
It's all good.
Yes, you are the one who was talking earlier, or should we continue? Don't mind me. I was quite excited about this story of fasting. So I'm like,
Oh, I love it. I love it. There are so many benefits to fasting. I think, there's a lot of things in life that we do that's fasting. We don't even know it. I live up here in the north central of the United States. Every winter, we fast from color. It's snowing. There's no color. It's just completely drab and green and gray and gross. But I tell you what, when those spring flowers come out, how much
I
more
like
do
the way she said
appreciate
it. I didn't see it that way.
how much more do I appreciate it, right? So what I was going to say is when we choose to step away from something for a time, and then we come back to it later, we will find that we appreciate it so much more. We enjoy it so much more because we had a small time away from it. So that's one really simple benefit that we get from choosing to step away from something.
Wow, I like that. You just brought in a very powerful point. Appreciation. Fasting helps you to appreciate things, people, situations, God, yourself. Fasting helps you to appreciate things.
Exactly.
I've come to realize the more I fast, the more I have that heart of caring more about people, understanding people. I appreciate whatever is going on around me. Because I have this hope that everything will be okay. Appreciation, that's a very good point. Fasting brings you to a point of appreciation. That's good. Tell me something. You spoke about some points of fasting, and one of them was intermittent fasting. I want us to talk more about that intermittent fasting. I've had too many stories about it, so I want us to talk more about it.
Okay. What do you want to know?
Let us generally talk about intermittent fasting, because literally when you go on the web, everywhere somebody's doing intermittent fasting. There is
well, remember, we got 5 ways to fast, right? We've got intermittent fasting is one of them. So intermittent fasting, again, like I said earlier, is not about what you eat. It's about when you eat. So intermittent fasting, every night we fast from whatever our last meal was, dinner or our ice cream before you went to bed or whatever your typical habits are, until the next morning after you sleep. Everybody fasts every day while you're sleeping, unless if you get up in the middle of the night and have your little snack, that's different. But so that's your fast every day. Intermittent fasting is slowly taking that maybe from 10 o'clock at night till 8 o'clock in the morning. Let's just say that right there, you've got 10 hours you haven't eaten. If you expand that and don't eat until 10 in the morning, now you're at 12 hours that you haven't eaten. If you expand that, don't eat till noon, skip your breakfast and just eat at noon. Well, now you're at 14 hours. And if there's a lot of science that shows that if you extend that to a 14, 15, or 16 hours, so you're skipping breakfast and lunch and just having dinner, your body does some really amazing scientific things. And I don't know if we have time to get into that, but your body does some really amazing things when you give that entire digestive system that long of a break. Think about it. In general, human beings have about 30 feet, 30 feet of intestines. And those resources that it takes to digest food that we are constantly putting into our system, those our body takes all of the resources to digest that stuff that we put in our bodies. And then they cannot use those resources to heal us or to, we have limited resources in our body. So if there's always stuff going on in our digestive system, we don't have the extra resources to go heal something that's broken or having issue. So by taking an extra long fast, like you're saying, Irene, extending that fasting window from just when we're sleeping to a little longer, then we get to free up some of those resources to use for other healing elements in our bodies.
Okay. Lillia, do you have something to say?
Yes.
I'm already having a lot of questions bumping on my head.
That for me, that was a big part. So when I was healing my body and shrinking the fibroids, for me, that was a big thing that my health coach had taught me, that your body if it's not busy digesting, it has time to work on the fibroids and to shrink them and to heal the body and to clean the blood and all this stuff she was talking about, clean the fat cells, like all this stuff is being purged. And God knows that, he built us this way. He created us this way, but there's so much truth to what Lisa's saying. And for me, I witnessed it personally because it wasn't always a long fast when I was eating clean. It was either partial fast or intermittent fasting or a few days. But at the end of the day, it became a lifestyle of, I'm going to give my body time to heal itself and not spending all this time and energy and resources doing the day-to-day. I've got to, digest this food. It was like, now that that's done, like she said, the 30 feet of all of that stuff is clear. Now we can focus on the bigger issues. And I think it's a beautiful thing that fasting provides when everything is cleared and it's time to focus on healing and cleansing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our bodies, immediately when you put food in our bodies, the body's kind of like, well, oh, hey, there's stuff in there. I got to take care of it. That's my first priority. Let's leave the fixing these fibroids and let's leave the fixing the cancer. Let's go digest that food because there might be fuel in there that we can use for fixing that cancer or those fibroids or whatever it may be. So our body prioritizes digestion over everything else. But when you eliminate the digestion process and you let your body rest, then your body goes, oh, I guess she's not going to feed us. I better get busy getting rid of the trash and cleaning up this place because I don't know when my next meal is going to be. So it really gives your body a break. Go say, okay, I've got time. I'm going to go fix those other projects. Us ladies, we know this project. We know this series so very well, right? How many of you have cleaned underneath that bathroom rug lately? Right? You don't clean under the rug, not until you have extra time and all the other projects are done. So it's kind of like that. Our body doesn't get to the extra fixes until it takes care of the priorities. And digestion is always number one priority.
I have another analogy.
Yes.
When you said it, made me think about when the kids are out of the house, now I can clean.
Yes.
I feel like when my kids are home, I'm always doing something, and almost like our digestive system is something.
They're your number one priority.
Calm, when they're out and the calm happens, it's like, okay, what can I do when they're not around? And I feel like it's a good analogy.
Very true.
Digesting, when people are around, it's hard to focus and clean, but when everything is out of the way, now you notice, where did that stain come from and who put that there? And
perfect.
I don't know. That's just the analogy that
that's
came
a good
to mind.
one.
But it is very true. Many a times, many people, they don't seem to understand intermittent fasting, and they keep on looking for somebody to help them out, not knowing that sometimes these are some things that you can just decide to do it yourself and follow through with it. And the one that I really needed to ask, like right now, Lillia, you have done it. I don't know, Lisa, which one you are doing, but I think the way you talk is like you also enjoy this intermittent fasting. But then I'm going to throw the question to both of you. Okay. If you miss the lunch and then you eat a lot of food in the evening, okay, how does that really work? Because I know people who will tell you, I'm fasting from 6 to 6. So throughout the night, they didn't eat. They don't eat throughout up until 6 the following day. When they eat, they tell you, I'm eating both my breakfast, my lunch, and my dinner.
I've seen that.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Irene. Let me say, I would ask anybody doing that, what is your goal for intermittent fasting?
Yeah.
If you're doing it just so you can brag to your friends that you're an intermittent faster, then you're spot on in the right place. Keep on going.
Okay.
But if you actually want health benefits, faith benefits, if you want to reap some rewards from your intermittent fasting, then you can't go back to all the refined sugars, the refined carbohydrates, eating twice the food because you're hungry and you're going to just make up for the foods you didn't eat. That is counterproductive to what an intermittent fast should be. Intermittent fasting is meant to restrict how much work your digestive system has. And if you just overload it, it'd be like Lillia, who's got her kids out of the house, and all of a sudden her kids come home and they bring 5 friends with them. Now you've got, that's, what it in the moment is just bringing more dirt and grime into the family. So that's not a productive way of going. So really you have to go back to why you're doing what you're doing. And if you're doing it just for bragging rights, go ahead and eat whatever you want. But if you want some value out of it, take a look at what you're doing and be wise.
Okay. What do you have to say, Lillia?
That's a good analogy, because it's interesting that you say that, but let's go with this analogy, because yes, when more people come, it's almost like all the work that you've done, you're almost doing more damage by bringing so much so quickly after it's cleaned out. Almost like when the Bible talks about the spirits leaving and they bring 7 more. And now you're worse than what you were before. I feel like that's how it is with fasting. It's like, hold on, I got everything clean, and now twice as many kids is here. Now I'm overworking because I've got to try to keep up with more to try to get it back to the position that it was originally in. And that's more work on my body. It's counterintuitive. It just doesn't, it's more work on your body, and therefore it works against you. It's in more ways than you holding out. It's like you might as well have ate and maintained a clean house, or had the kids throughout the, versus cleaning it and then twice as mess coming in. I love the kids analogy though. I'm like, that's exactly it.
Or if you don't have kids, you could say, remember the Thanksgiving dinner? Like we clean up the house, we get everything ready, and we put the table out there, and the house looks great. And then all these people come over, and by the time they leave, you got to clean the whole house again.
Okay, I like, most of the time in America, they do the Thanksgiving dinner. Now, tell an African woman when you're having visitors over, or maybe you're having a family gathering, man, you will clean. And then when they come in, they'll be happy the place looks good. And by the time they leave everywhere a mess. And you have to start all over again. So the excitement of actually you cleaning up before is more or less like, oh no, what happened? So I do get that. So I like the fact that you have actually explained that, because many people, when you tell them about intermittent fasting, they'll tell you, okay, I can fast. I will not eat throughout the night. I will not eat my breakfast. I will not eat my lunch, but I'll make sure I eat my heavy food in the evening. And at the end of the day, when you tell them this is not helping you, they feel like, no, but I fasted. But they don't realize it, especially in the evening. Most of the time, you are not active enough. So the food that you've eaten, it will actually stay in, and you're actually overworking your system. So that is very, very important. And, now today we're not talking about spiritual fasting, but then when you go to Isaiah 58, it actually encourages you to go and give the poor. So the food that you did not eat, go and give it to somebody else. That's a good fast. But most of the people don't realize that. I was thinking about intermittent fasting the other day, and I realized that intermittent fasting works with you restricting yourself, maybe time restriction. And then another thing is maybe you are giving yourself an alternate day fast. Maybe you can say, I'm fasting today, I'm not fasting the other day, I'm jumping this day. There's a guy that I know, a great businessman that I know. What he does is he never takes breakfast. For years that I know him, this guy never takes breakfast. All he does, by then he was having health issues. All he will do is every minute he will keep on missing his breakfast. He misses his breakfast. He misses his breakfast. And it has become so much of a habit that today, this guy, one thing about him, when you look at him, he's always very healthy. The sicknesses he was struggling with are completely gone. And he did not even realize when they went, but he always says that I miss my breakfast and I still don't go back and bring it back. When I continue with my normal eating, the other food stuff. So just like Lisa explained, you can miss the other food and then come in and decide to eat light, maybe in the evening, depending on what you eat. And I think of what Lillia said. You also allow your system to kill whatever disease that is inside. And fibroids. And a lot of ladies are struggling with fibroids right now. A lot. So yeah, ladies, you amaze me, actually. You amaze me. Let me stop talking. I'm still listening to you guys because, I'm learning here.
Irene, I will be signing off. I have to sign off at 2, but it was so great seeing you guys.
No problem. Lillia has to go for now, but we're still here with Lisa. Lillia will be joining us next time. She has to rush out for a few minutes. We'll be with Lisa before we actually call it say bye-bye, actually. So thank you so much, Lillia.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Well, I love what Lillia was saying, Irene, because, for the listeners that are out there, I want you to think about the food you put in your body, like bringing in mud on your kitchen floor. Think of your boots like you're trudging mud in, and you can come into the house with shoes that aren't too dirty. You can come into the house with shoes that are really caked with mud. The more food you put into your body, no matter what time of day you put it in there, your body has to deal with it. So to Irene's point, if you're going to intermittent fast and try to get benefits from it, don't overeat when you do fast. And when you do eat, and when you do eat clean, try to eat whole foods that are not pretend manufactured foods. If it came from a plant that came from the ground, then you're all good. If it came from a plant that was built by human beings, then you should maybe not eat it.
But then how do they work on that? Because some people don't know the difference.
So if it came from a plant that came from the ground, you're pretty good. Plants, if it's a plant or an animal, you're pretty good. But if you look at anything that's boxed and it's got ingredients in there that you can't pronounce, those are probably man-made chemicals. So I would say eat things that are alive. If you have anything that is in your pantry or your kitchen or your refrigerator that will expire, you're okay.
In other words, you're trying to tell us to stay away from snacks.
Yes. In a word, yes. We need to have another conversation about sometime, Irene, about seed oils, because they are wrecking havoc with our systems. And that's one of the reasons that I fasted is to try to clear my body of some of those damaging oils.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. When the way you talk about fasting, you're really passionate about it. And it makes me understand one thing for real. Everybody has a calling and everybody has a gift in life. So many people look at fasting like, why should I do this? But truthfully speaking, it's one element in life that we should stick on, because I remember when I was struggling with the ulcers, I fasted.
Yeah.
Jokingly, it just disappeared. And you could not even explain. And sometimes when you go back to the hospital, even the doctor asks you, what happened? Because they start doubting themselves if they really got it, or, but
yeah, it's so true, Irene.
Yeah,
and how many of us deal with cravings that are just like, you're sitting in your office and there's that, vending machine or something in the kitchen that's just calling your name and you can't not go get it and eat it.
Yeah.
Fasting breaks those cravings completely. So you no longer have them, because, and this is another thing we'll have to get into when we have more time sometime, my friend, but your gut is full of bacteria. They are living little creatures, little pets that you can call your own, and they drive your cravings. So if you are used to drinking and eating a lot of sugary stuff, your gut is going to drive cravings for sugary stuff.
Yeah.
When you fast, you're giving your body a period of time away from those kinds of things. So literally those bacteria die out. So then you don't have the cravings anymore. It's really a magical, beautiful thing, the way that God made our bodies to be able to do this.
But by you talking like that, it just makes you understand that there are a lot of diseases that we are struggling with today. That
Mhm.
actually, if we can try to understand our bodies, and if we can actually try to understand the benefits of fasting, we can get rid of them.
Yes, because most of those diseases, Irene, are from an abundance. It's from an overindulgence. A lot of those diabetes, Alzheimer's, all those different type 1, type 2, type 3 diabetes, they're all from eating too much.
Mm, mm,
You don't get diseases from eating too little. As long as you're nourishing your body, there is obviously a threshold where you can't starve your body, but if you're doing it wisely and you're
yeah.
doing it intentionally with the right guidance,
Mm.
fasting is just an amazing longevity. You get more longevity from your life. You live better, live faster, live longer. It's just a beautiful combination.
Wow, wow. It's good for us to fast. Sincerely, I think we need to make this a habit. Actually, if possible, next time we are discussing, I want us to talk about a medical fast. Because
Sure.
I think that's also a part that many people need to understand. Because many people think that, okay, you can just get up and fast, or um, you can just fast your life away, or you can just ignore the fasting. But I think there's different ways people can fast. Like, I want us to be able to talk about medical fast. I want us to talk about religious fast. The best way to do it, not just to just get up in the morning and say, I'm fasting today. No,
Right. So the
we need to.
preparation is important.
Yes, the preparation is important. I remember one time when I was listening to a man of God when he was teaching about fasting, the first years when I was learning about fasting. I was so surprised. He said, before you even fast, give yourself 2 weeks. And he explained the things that you need to do so that
Mhm.
your body you will not start craving. Don't just get up in the morning and say, tomorrow I'm fasting. He said, you'll struggle more, because you cannot just be eating a lot of sweets and then all of a sudden you say, I'm cutting off. Your
Mhm.
system may be used to the sweets, and then at the end, as you said, there are bacteria in the body that will be craving that same sweets, that same sugar that you've been taking, and it
Yeah.
will be very hard for the body to continue without taking all those things. For instance, if you take coffee and then you're not taking coffee, you'll find yourself always dozing off. You're struggling because the coffee is not there.
And the headaches that you'll get from the
The
caffeine,
headaches,
lack
yeah.
of caffeine. I would say that's true, Irene, but I also, and we'll talk about that next time, is really dive into
Yes,
preparation
yes,
because it's a
yes.
critical thing to talk about. The
Yeah.
the number one thing is you have to make it simple because if
Mm-hmm.
it's overly complex, nobody will do it. And
Mm-hmm.
we want to make this, like we were talking earlier, about making it a lifestyle that's simple, that you can move into easily. It doesn't cost anything. There's no
Mm-hmm.
extra expense to it. And there's
Mm-hmm.
like only upside if we do this right. So we'll talk
Mm-hmm.
about preparation next time in a little more detail.
I'll really appreciate that, because it will be very important. And let's talk about preparation next time. And next time, as we're talking about preparation, let's include medical fast, because I know many people they are going through a lot of challenges, maybe medically and all that. And probably they would like to fast, but they don't know how to. And the benefits of fasting also medically, I think I need us to talk in depth about that
Yes,
next
I
week.
agree.
Right now, I know our time is up, and we have to say goodbye. But man, this was enlightening. This was encouraging for me. I was like, I'm blessed, sincerely. You ladies, you're a great blessing. Viewers, if you are not listening to us today, then there's something wrong. It is time for us to be able to embrace the idea of fasting and take it seriously, because when you fast, when you decide that you're going to fast, let me tell you something. Even your body will benefit from it. It will not be in vain. It's not something that you'll say, just because I'm fasting, I'm just doing it religiously. No, do it intentionally. And when you decide to do it intentionally, the benefits will be extremely great for you, and at the end, you yourself will be able to go out there and tell people about it. So I will encourage each and every person to fast. We've started talking about different types of fasting, and we will talk more about it until we even get to the religious side, so that everybody can know that this fasting is not just religious, it's not just for Christians, it's not just for a particular group of people, but it's for everyone, and that it has benefits. I love you all and thank you all for listening. My sisters, the ladies, they are amazing. And that's why I always like for them to come through and talk to you all. We'll see you again next time when they join us. And I love you and I pray that God will keep you safe and sound. And remember, you are meant to be authentic and not flawless. Or rather, you're meant to be real and not perfect. Bye, you all. Love you. Bye.
Artists who are selling their music on Matumba online store. South African legendary pastor Rudolph Mabasa, the legendary Stephen Ngobeni, Apostle Neo, Pastor Triple E Bekweyo, legendary multi-award winning Matumba Power, Mozambican Julia Magaya, Nigerian Francis Divine Gift, South African Apostle Peter, South African gospel group Vukona Worship Explo, Kenyan gospel artist Irene Solo, South African legendary Dr. Keddy, Brighton and Princess, Minister Jones, South African Walter Chabbs, the legendary Apostle Petrus Mamahohi, the legendary Gift Makamu, Zimbabwean gospel legend Shadrach Muzakomba, and from South Africa Eastern Cape, Pearl. Kindly visit matumbapower.com, and scroll down to Matumba online store and buy. You can pay through PayPal to email pastorpower79@gmail.com, or locate the Matumba online store FNB business account details, just after you have filled your personal information, then click Save and Continue, and choose the Matumba online store FNB business account details. After clicking the button, Place your order, you will see the account details. Wire a payment to it. After receiving your payment, we will update the system. You will then receive a link on your email to download your digital product. Thank you for your support. Matumba Online Store.
In partnership with Yahweh TV.
By Jesus' grace, we also provide the following services. We do posters for your Sunday services, conferences, night prayers, funeral announcements, weddings, and special church events.
We do digital marketing videos for the same events. We do ebooks, produce audiobooks, and music,
then sell it on social media, to a global audience of over 38 nations scattered in 5 continents of the globe through Matumba Online Store, located on the website matumbapower.com.
Matumba Online Store,
in partnership with Yahweh TV, enriching lives, glorifying Christ. Pastors and authors who are selling ebooks, audiobooks, and their sermons on Matumba Online Store, one of South Africa's church fathers and revivalist, Apostle Joseph Sitholy,
American pastor and scholar Bishop Dr. Paul Taylor,
Bible teacher, author and multi-award winning gospel artist, Matumba Power, Zimbabwean pastor and seasoned author, Pastor Benedict Chiponda, South African Bible teacher, and author, Mama Pastor Josie Sithole,
Bible teacher and scholar Pastor K.E.T. Huhu,
American evangelist and professor Dr. Percy Bland Sr.,
South African Bible scholar Dr. John Mafukela,
one of Nigeria's church fathers and leadership expect, Dr. Shegun Tremendous Oshinaga, the South African author and Bible teacher Apostle Sai Shlungwani, theologian and leadership expect Dr. Gideon Sabila,
author and South African recording artist Lev Simmons,
Bible teacher and prolific author Apostle Sibusiso Koza of His Grace Tabernacle, and South African author Mitham Tando Usandlo. Kindly visit matumbapower.com, and scroll down to Matumba Online Store and buy. You can pay through PayPal to email pastorpower79@gmail.com, or locate the Matumba Online Store FNB business account details. Just after you have filled your personal information, then click Save and Continue, and choose the Matumba Online Store FNB business account details. After clicking the button, Place your order, you will see the account details. Wire a payment to it. After receiving your payment, we will update the system. You will then receive a link on your email to download your digital product. Thank you for your support. Matumba Online Store.
In partnership with Yahweh TV.
By Jesus' grace, we also provide the following services. We do posters for your Sunday services, conferences, night prayers, funeral announcements, weddings, and special church events.
We do digital marketing videos for the same events. We do ebooks, produce audiobooks, and music,
then sell it on social media, to a global audience of over 38 nations scattered in 5 continents of the globe through Matumba Online Store, located on the website matumbapower.com.
Matumba Online Store,
in partnership with Yahweh TV, enriching lives, glorifying Christ.